Alrighty. Ian, how you doing today, man? Maybe he is, oh, there he is.
Doing well. Sorry about that.
All good. um, well, let's go ahead and get started. I think that, I know Fat Hedonist has some questions, so I guess I'll start with him, and then anyone else who has any questions in here, we can go ahead and take your questions, and then I will answer any questions from the previous week in the chat. So I've got my FL Studio loaded up. Let me know if you guys can all see that. I'm sure that you can. So I think, okay, so first of all, Fat Hedonist's question is his serum will not let him label any of his macros, and he thinks it's like constantly refreshing or something. I think that I know the issue because I actually had this issue recently. So let me go ahead and get serum loaded up here, and I'll show you what I think it is. And then you can go ahead and test this out for yourself and let me know if this works. So this button up here, I don't know if you can see my screen right now, but if you click this button, it says allow the plugin to handle keystrokes before the host does. If that button is highlighted, you're not going to be able to type anything. So make sure that's unhighlighted, and then you can go in here. Let me make sure. Oh, wait. So it might be vice versa. You need that to be highlighted in order to type in here. Yeah. Yeah, so that has to be highlighted for you to be able to type anything in there. Go ahead, Fat Hedonist, go ahead and try that out on your machine and let me know if that solves the issue for you.
That did not fix the issue.
Okay. So what exactly is happening?
Let's say when I click in the macro to label something, the cursor shows up for about half a second and then it disappears.
And when you type on your keyboard, are notes playing or no?
No.
Okay, so this is a different issue then.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to help you then. It does sound like a glitch. Ian, do you have any experience with this, or you think it's just a glitch?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm not experienced with serum.
Well, there's been a lot of, I was reading the forums with the new update, there's been a lot of third-party plugin issues. So I'm thinking maybe this is one of those.
That sucks. Are you talking about what version are you on? 20.7.3 or whatever?
The newest one. See, it's 20.7.1 build 1773.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't updated that version yet. I think I'm going to hold off on updating.
That would be wise.
Usually ImageLine's pretty good about their updates. That sucks. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I thought that I had the solution for you, but I guess I don't.
That's cool.
Let's go ahead and anyone else in here have any questions?
Hi, I had a question.
Sure.
I'm trying to make a running bass for a track that's in like swing time. So like the BPM is felt as like, 224. And I'm having a hard time getting satisfying results because of that. Are there any, because you have a tutorial on a running bass, but I found that it's not really satisfying because I also want to change up the speed at which it goes. So like in the verse, it could be in like regular time and then maybe switch it over to halftime. So are there any alternative ways to making a running bass with like peak controller or something like that you would recommend?
I'm thinking that you're talking about my synthwave tutorial where I had that sort of running bass line, and I'm guessing that's probably what you're producing is synthwave type stuff.
Yeah, it's similar to that, but it's got like a jazzy sort of influence. You know, I'm making kind of like I'm trying to really do my own thing. But
Okay.
yeah, I was looking for a running bass similar to what you made in GMS, but I'm finding that because the tempo is so high, I'm not really getting, and because also when you're switching up like the times to like say it's happening on like 1/4 beat, jumping down like with automation or something to 1/2 beat, it doesn't really. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong with the automation, but it doesn't really feel like it's sitting right with the groove.
You said you're at 224.
Yeah, because it's in like swing time, so it's like a jazzy, you know.
Yeah. I want to say cut your tempo in half, and then it may be easier for like to tweak the automations and stuff. Because 224 is really fast. I would I've never worked on a project above 200 BPM. Because if I'm going that high, I would just cut that tempo in half, and then I mean it's the same tempo. You're just and you could instead of being halftime, you would be regular time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Now as far as swing goes, there is a way to do that in FL Studio. Are you familiar with how to turn on the swing?
Yeah, I do know the swing knob, but I feel like the results are kind of like artificial for what I'm going for because, you know, I'm working with a vocalist and they have like a sort of jazzy background, so it really is more felt. So maybe I'm a little bit out of my depth because of that, but.
Well, the other option is instead of so the way that I had my running bass line that I made in GMS, which, by the way, that was so long ago. I'm like, you know, I mean, I remember how I did it, but that was forever ago. But basically, I'm using an LFO to create that consistent. So you hold down one note, and then it plays it repeats over and over again. So maybe it would be a better idea to create kind of like a bass pluck within like you're using your attack, decay, sustain, and release, and actually shaping. So when you hold down the note, it only plays it one time. And then you can manually go into your piano roll and create like a manual swing. I mean, that's really your only other option, unless you were to get like an actual bassist to come in and play something, which, for jazz, for like a genre, like a jazzy genre, and like kind of what I think I'm getting the sense that you're trying to create, it might be best to try and get like a live recording, maybe, if you can. Have you tried using any samples? What kind of what is the tone of the bass line that you're trying to use? Like, do you want it synthetic or synthesized, or do you want something realistic?
I was looking for something more synthesized, just as it's not like the main focus of the song at all. It would really just be something in the background to support like the bed of the track, and so that the groove, the transition from the verse to the chorus could, still be felt.
Okay.
If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I think I do, and it's difficult for me to like fully answer your question without actually seeing your project and hearing it. But I'm gonna stick with create like an actual bass pluck of the sound that you want. So instead of using the LFO to hold down the note and do like a running bass line, just have the bass do a pluck, and then manually plot it in and try and get some groove that way. I found that, I tend to do this a lot anyway with like hi-hats and other elements within my track. I just manually input it instead of using the groove, the swing knob, because I get the best results that way. So that would be my suggestion. Ian, what do you think? Do you have anything to add to this, or?
No, I'm actually not even familiar with the term running bass line. What do you guys mean by that?
So I don't know if this is actually the proper term or not. I think it's the term that I used, but what I meant was, so within like inside a synth, I basically created a bass line where using an LFO, if you hold down the note on the keyboard, it plays over and over again. So the LFO is triggering like the bass line to hit. and then so it's going like like over and over again. So like if you ever listen to any synthwave tracks, you kind of hear like how the bass line has like a running bass line, like it has that effect. That was what I was doing within the synth. If that makes sense.
I gotcha. So it's probably sounding something like a. Is that modifying the amp volume or the filter?
It was I think I may have done both, but probably it would be more the amp volume, like the actual global volume of the synth. Yeah, the filter. I think I've done it. I think I've done it to the filter as well, but the amp volume kind of gives it a better sound.
So his situation is that he's making beats in 200 plus tempos, and I guess the LFO inside of Serum is not really matching up to that. Is that what's going on?
Well, I think he's using GMS.
GMS.
But I think that, yeah, I mean, yeah. I think that he's trying to get more swing, like more realistic swing, and it's just not working out. I don't know if you heard my answer, but I was suggesting that he just manually, plotted in the piano roll.
Yeah, I think that would be best if you're, not happy with what's going on inside of the plugin, because the piano roll and even the playlist will give you the most control compared to doing something inside of GMS for sure. I think Serum has a lot more control, but having the automation curves and whatnot inside of the playlist definitely will give you an advantage there of getting the exact groove that you're looking for.
All right, let's go ahead and take Isbatin's question. I'm guessing, Isbatin, you probably don't have a mic, which I'm assuming. Let me know if you do have a mic, but I'll go ahead and read your question. How do you make a sound like,
I do.
Oh, you do have a mic? Okay. Well, do
Yeah.
you want to ask your question, or do you want me to read it?
I can. It's just how do you make a sound like, for instance, in a vocal or snare drum? So I wanted to like rise up and like in speed and pitch as a riser, kind of.
Okay. Man, these are like tutorial questions.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like I've been thinking about that.
Ian, do you know like a quick, like, can you answer this question without showing your screen, do you think?
Are you using FL Studio or?
Yeah.
Okay, all you do is just right click on the pitch knob, which is inside of the sampler. So if you're using like a vocal chop or something, or a snare one shot, just click on the channel, and then you'll see the pitch, which is on the top right. It'll have the number 2 next to it. Crank that up to 12, and that will give you the full range that you'll probably need. And then when you right click that, select create automation clip, and there you can literally just draw in the pitch and how far you want it to go up or down or whatever, and for how long.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I just tried it right now and it seems to work. But how do I make it like faster though?
Just make the angle of the slope faster. So the longer that you draw that line, the longer it'll take for the pitch to move up. But if you have a really sharp line that's going up really quick, then the pitch is going to go up really quick.
All right. Well, I'm going to try it out. Thank you so much for the answer.
No problem.
Yeah, and you can go up more than an octave too. You can go up, I think, all the way up to 4 octaves on that, using that method.
Oh, right. Nice. That's going to be great.
Cool. Any other questions from people that are in here? All right, if not, I'm going to go ahead and get started with questions from the week. So the first question is from DMBX, and he's wondering how to make his mix sound thick and crisp. So short answer, you can layer sounds. If things are sounding thin, you can layer other synths, other sounds on top of them to make them sound fuller. I would recommend trying to, if your drums are sounding thin, for example, I would use different samples. So I would try and find samples and sounds that are already sounding really nice and thick and full to begin with. Then layering can help to beef them up even more. As far as crisp goes, that comes down to the mix, comes down to just leveling everything properly, and using proper techniques to make things, mix together well. You can use saturation to kind of thicken up sounds as well, saturation or distortion. Ian, do you have anything you want to add on to that?
Excuse me. Yeah, actually, just at 1:00 when we first started this Q&A, I just dropped a tutorial on my channel covering vintage tube distortion. So, like David just said, saturation is definitely gonna help you out there. Saturation, distortion, wave shaping, stuff like that will add harmonics to any of your sounds, and with those extra harmonics you get extra frequencies, and that makes a thicker sound. But from there, in terms of crispiness and even shaping the thickness of the sound, really the two tools that you're really looking for are saturation slash distortion, and then basic filtering or EQ. So people will usually recommend not to boost, or they'll recommend to do more cuts than anything. But I find that when it comes to sound design, like if you're not in the mixing stage and you're actually trying to create the sound itself, go ahead and boost. Look for the higher end frequencies of the drum sound or whatever it is that you're mixing, or sound designing, I should say. And then combine that with saturation or distortion. So add your distortion or saturation to add in the extra harmonics and frequencies, and then use your EQ to boost the areas that you like and take out the areas that you're not pleased with. So that's what I would have to say about that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I approach EQ the exact same way. When I'm sound designing, I don't worry about boosting or I'll go crazy with EQ when I'm designing a sound. When it comes to the actual mix, I do tend to pretty much never boost. If I do, it's very subtle. And I pretty much am only doing subtractive EQ when I'm actually doing the final mixes. Just to let you know, In-Flight Music, Ian, his channel is In-Flight Music on YouTube. So if you want to go check out that tutorial that he was talking about, that's his channel. Okay, so let's move on to another question from Poisonous Music. Hey David, I saw your video on making the basic bass / house bass. I think he's talking about my I think I know which tutorial he's talking about. It helped a lot, but I want to use it to make a slap house track. What characteristic changes can be made to that bass to make it more appropriate to the slap house genre? Okay, so I wish you were in here because I'm not super familiar with the slap house genre. I listened to like one track just to kind of get an idea of what you were talking about. And basically what you're going to need to focus on mostly is the ADSR or the envelope section. ADSR stands for attack, decay, sustain, and release. And just messing with those four things, so like having a fast attack is going to create more of a plucky sound, which is going to, be more what you're going for with the slap house track, I think. So I wouldn't do maybe like if it is the tutorial that I'm thinking of where I was using FM synthesis, I wouldn't necessarily actually use any FMing. I would just create like sort of a bass tone, which is pretty simple to do. You can experiment with some different wave shapes. I would start with a sine wave. A sine wave is just a single pure waveform, like one note. And so that's good for basses. If you want to add maybe a little bit of saturation or distortion on it to give it some more frequencies and make it sound a little bit fatter, then you can do that, and then just use the attack, decay, sustain, and release to kind of shape the way you want it to sound as far as like how plucky it is or how slappy it is. So, I mean, that's about as good as I can do answer-wise without actually diving in and making a tutorial. Ian, do you have anything you want to add on to that?
No, sir. I'm not familiar with Slap House.
Yeah,
at all,
I'm really
but
not either.
It sounds like you're on the right track though, in terms of the main thing that you would be focusing on is the ADSR for sure.
Okay. All right. So next, we got another question from Poisonous Music, and he says, "Which would you prefer for a better filtering output, effector or parametric EQ2?" So, I mean, I just did a tutorial on this, and I had like ever since effector came out, if I'm doing any sort of filtering, like especially like low pass or high pass filtering, just like basic, filtering, I'm going to use effector because it's super easy to use. You have a lot of control over the different types of slopes and different, just different filter types in general. Like it's really simple to use. Parametric EQ has I guess the added benefit of being able to kind of see what's happening. So that's nice. But if you know what's happening already and you don't need to see it, then I would just reach for effector. As far as which one sounds better, I don't think that one is necessarily better than the other, but I don't know like exactly what is happening behind the engine to be able to answer that. Ian, do you know?
True. I'm not sure if effector would actually give you any different results, but yeah, the workflow would definitely be faster with effector just because of how it's set up. But you should be able to get the same filtering results with parametric EQ. That being said, there are two other options in FL that will give you different results for sure, and that's Fruity Love Filter, which is it was my favorite filter in FL. And then they just added Destructor, which has a whole list of filters in it as well, which combines the filters from their new Flex plugin. So definitely check out those filters because those are going to be different from parametric EQ and effector. So,
yeah, and I actually just realized I've been describing Destructor this whole time when you actually said effector. So I'm not sure if you actually did mean effector or if you were talking about Destructor, because that completely changes the answer to my question. Because Destructor is the plugin that I was talking about using. That one has, in my opinion, the best filter as far as like workflow and just ease of use and everything. So
gotcha. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the. Okay, yeah, because I think effector also has a filter in it as well. But Destructor, I agree with reaching for that before I reach for parametric EQ in terms of trying to get a filtered sound versus trying to mix something into the mix. I use Destructor when I'm, in that sound design stage. So if I want something darker or warmer, I'll reach for Destructor as a filter versus pulling out parametric EQ.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's see what other questions we have. So Ray asks, okay, so he wants to make a vocal sound really auto-tuned, like T-Pain style. And he was using, I think is it called G-Snap? Is that the name of the free plugin? It's like,
I've heard of that. Yeah, I think G-Snap is a free.
Yeah, version. It's like not that great. It's okay, but it's a little bit, So I believe he has the signature edition of FL Studio, and so I told him to use Pitcher in FL Studio because you can actually get some really good auto-tuned results with Pitcher. Now that's for anyone who is actually using at least the signature bundle of FL Studio because it doesn't come with the producer edition or the fruity edition. Now, were there any other free plugins that you know about that, Ian, that are really good, like auto-tune?
Yeah, and this actually might be better than Pitcher.
Okay.
Go to Melda Productions, and they have a free effects bundle So you'll actually get more than just the auto tune that they offer, but they have a whole suite from basic EQs and compressors to some pretty cool saturation units. But they have a plugin called M
Auto Pitch.
Auto Pitch.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So definitely check that out. I've heard nothing but good things about it. People were saying that it's literally the exact results that you would get in auto tune.
So funny enough, I have that plugin, and I actually really love this free plugin bundle that you're talking about. I've got all the plugins. I don't use. There's really only a handful of plugins that I do use from the bundle, and M Auto Pitch is one of them. But I've never really used M Auto Pitch to achieve the auto tune sound. So I don't know. I've never experimented with it to see if exactly how you can get, but I'm sure you can. I mean, it's a really great plugin. What I tend to use that plugin for is actually the formant shift, because it's just one knob, and you can switch it's a really cool effect that I do a lot on vocals and really anything, if I'm just experimenting with sound design. So shifting the formant is definitely a cool little trick that you can do messing with that plugin. All right, cool. So Ray, be sure to check this out. I'll try and drop that in the answers too. Okay, and we already answered that. Okay. All right, so I guess that's all the questions.
I have another question.
Okay, go for it.
I asked it earlier, but it wasn't seen, I guess.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So I've been going over compression and mastering stuff and whatnot. And so we have Maximus now, right? So why would I use the multi-band compressor instead of Maximus? What's the difference?
You really wouldn't.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
It's a replacement for sure.
Okay.
It's a replacement.
Yeah, I agree. I would use Maximus over the multi-band compressor. There's a lot of plugins like that in FL Studio. I mean, you notice you have the fruity
3 Qs, 3 delays.
Exactly. Yeah. Three delays, 3 Qs, 2 reverbs, and they're all. I mean, FL Studio wants to keep the legacy plugins, just in case there's somebody who use them, and they're basically covering their tracks for anyone who needs to open a project that, they're never going to get rid of those plugins. Well, maybe they will eventually, but so far they haven't that I know of. Actually, Ian, do you know, have they ever gotten rid of any of their plugins that they came out with? Just completely?
Yeah, but it's never any of the the more common ones.
The main
but
ones,
they do get rid of plugins every once in a while. But yeah, the EQs and the delays, those are all probably gonna be around for quite a while.
Yeah. Okay, well, anybody else have any questions? And if not, I guess it was just a short session today. Cool. All right, Ian.
Oh, good to go. See you guys next Sunday. I should say, when's your next live, David?
Well, I'm trying to do them every Wednesday, but this past week I couldn't do it just because I had so much going on. And I'm actually, to be honest, past few days I've been feeling pretty shitty. Just really low energy, not feeling very well at all. And I've been trying to kind of push through it. And anyway, long story short, I haven't been getting as much done. I've been kind of taking it easy and not doing a lot past couple days. So I'm trying to kind of recover and feel better. So I still am planning on doing a live stream this Wednesday, but I will, make an announcement if for some reason I don't end up doing that.
Yeah, man. Definitely find time to relax and recover, rejuvenate for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'll be going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time on the In-Flight Music live In-Flight Music live channel. So it's just In-Flight Music, music spelled M-U-Z-I-K, and then live. If you guys want to check that out, I'll be doing beat critiques, Q&As, live cookups, and everything else in between. So
cool. Yeah, I'll
Is it
definitely.
on YouTube?
yeah, it's on YouTube at In-Flight Music Live and also on Twitch.
All right, I subscribe to you.
Yeah,
Cool.
and Isbitin, just to let you know, I on my live channel, mine's another Monster Live, or is it Another Monster Productions Live? It's one of those two.
It's another Monster Live.
Yeah, I found it. I subscribed to that one as well.
Okay, awesome. Yeah,
You
so
have a really good videos, man.
I appreciate that, man. And Ian does a lot of FL Studio videos and a lot of he's been doing a lot of like plugin review type and plugin tutorial type videos recently. So
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
David, do you have any plans to do Twitch?
well, I have a Twitch, and I was thinking about just going ahead and doing like a restream or whatever those things are where I can just stream
Yeah.
on everything at the same time. But I like right now, I think I'm just going to stick to doing just the YouTube because I don't think I have any followers on Twitch, and I'm still kind of getting used to like I said. I mean, 2 weeks ago that was the first live stream I've ever done,
Right.
and I want to kind of get, I guess, more comfortable with it, and then I think I'll probably try and grow the Twitch a little bit.
Makes sense.
But yeah, Fat Hedonist, if you wanna add me on Twitch in the meantime, I think it's Another Monster. I've got links in all my YouTube videos for all my socials, including Twitch, I believe. I might have taken it out. I'll start adding it back in. But all right, guys, what's up? Isbitin, you said anything?
Nice. I said all right.
Okay, gotcha. Am I
Yeah.
saying that right, by the way?
Sorry?
Am I saying your name right?
No, it's actually Swedish for ice cube, but
Oh,
you can call me Isaac.
Isaac?
I can change my name here to Isaac. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever. Ice Cube. I'm going to call you Ice Cube.
Yeah, ice cube. Yeah.
All right. All right, cool, guys. Well, I'll see everybody later on.
All
See
right.
you.
Take care.
Take care.
All right, bye.